definitely, the age of the individual or of the young lady, and also the condition, the constitution of the body. Any type of medical issues or things of that nature. And also we have to look at the toxicity because, there's blockage going on. There's interference. So yes, herbs can help in the process, no question. There's certain herbs, like the one that comes to mind right away is the red raspberry. Anything that has to do with any type of reproductive issue with the female, whether you're nursing, you're pregnant, whatever, this is going to help. So that's like a given. The down kwai, but still, food is the big key. Food is the big key because you don't want to obstruct your system, that the body is not in a position now to really release these eggs. So there's a lot of blockage, that is possibly going on, but any condition of the body, especially something like this, that possibly has to do with some sort of environmental hazard and not, a natural defect of the individual system, these things can be managed. So, but food is always our best start because, most of the medicines that are being produced, they're produced originally from food, period. And hey, since you still have to eat, why not, take care of two beautiful birds with one sling,
So what would you say about fibroids?
About fibroids? Well, it's fibrous tissues. It's tough tissues. You have to soften them up. You have to weed them back out, So, of course, papaya, the papain, that powerful digestive enzyme that would begin to tenderize them, and things like okra, aloe, but besides the diet, absolutely, herbs are going to help, but the diet is a huge factor because you got to get your hormones back in the proper order as well, because definitely it affects the hormones, and it feeds on certain hormones. So that's why, especially, young ladies, as you're considering conceiving, this is where the detox help to get these things out of the way. Because if you have anything like that, any type of fibroids and you conceive, they could really create some major issues for you because they tend to grow. They feed very, very lusciously on certain foods. So changing the eating system, being careful with the starches, those tough starches wrapped with the grease, then we're going to start seeing, a major improvement. But these are things that have been covered extensively by, master queen teachers like Queen Afua. She's got the formula. So just go and look up Sacred Women, look up Queen Afua, and you're going to get, you're going to get it done. Okay. So we have many sisters that have taken care of that, in great ways. So I have been blessed to be able to sit at some of their feet to get this little information that I'm sharing with you. But it goes beyond, the little bit that I can share with you now. So really, if it's something that's afflicting you, you need to go home and get that sister love direct.
Okay. Thoughts on fish?
Fish. It's the greatest source of body odor.
When people cut out meat and cheese and thing, they go, yeah, but I'm just gonna eat fish. So when I was cutting out, I cut out red meat and dairy first, then I cut out chicken for a year, and then the last thing I was eating fish because I thought that fish was a cleaner meat or better for me. So what would you say to people who are thinking of or are still eating fish, or what would you say about fish? You said
Yeah, well, it's
older.
interesting because, some people who eat fish, they still classify themselves as a vegetarian, and kind of clothe up to something there. But number one, fish is the greatest source of human body odor. Look at fish, the way it is when it comes to us. It spoils at room temperature. It spoils at ambient temperature. It even spoils in the refrigerator, at 40, 50 degrees. Fish has to be frozen for it not to break down, to decompose and rot just at, certain temperatures. So right there, that alone tells you something, because your body is not a freezer. Your gut is not a freezer. If anything, it's going to heat it up even more than ambient temperature. You're talking a good 100 degrees down inside of your gut. So that fish is going to spoil, it's going to rot faster than it probably even does sitting on your table. So, and the human, our digestive system, our intestinal tract is extremely long. So it takes a good 4 hours at least for something like fish to digest. And then, of course, if we're mixing it with starch and other things, that even holds it back. So a lot of us, even with consuming fish on a regular basis, daily basis, we're actually backed up with undigested stuff that is just rotting, decaying, festering. So it's still secondhand protein. These things, well, of course, now that they're like more than secondhand protein, because you have fish that are eating other fish, and there becomes a whole nother danger. And of course, the sea is probably one of the most polluted places on earth right now with all this plastic and stuff. A lot of fish that are coming out now with plastic inside their system. A lot of these chemicals are down there. They're really creating a major havoc. So of course, what they're doing farm fish. So they're raising your fish on a farm and they're feeding it all of these chemicals, all of these growth hormones. So we really, really need to be careful. And it is something that the protein and even the what they call those omega-3 fatty acids that you get in certain fish, tuna and salmon and stuff like that. You can get these things from flax seeds. They're seeds that can offer you these things, that they're natural plant fats that is found here on the earth, that you can get these natural omega fatty acids with no problem whatsoever. But we need to go beyond, our little box, because I would take, for example, something like, well, back in my early days in the sun-fired foods cuisine, anyone who knows me from Brooklyn and travel around the U.S., in the 80s, 90s, and whipping out sun-fired foods, I had a dish that I called tree fish. Tree fish, just the name of the dish. Back then people were doing mock this and that, but I just never mocked. I said, well, this is a tree fish. And I would use the young jackfruit, the green jackfruit, that I would pickle and tenderize it, and I would mix it with about 4 different seaweed. So you get the texture. It's like a conch salad. You get the, or a ceviche, escovitch. You get the texture of the flesh of the fish, and you get the sea flavor. Because fish, the flavor that you like in fish is the same flavor that you get in seaweed. It's just sea flavor. So the same fish is eating the seaweed. So we're using these seaweeds to season these dishes now. And some people, really, they even got to the point that they didn't even want it because it reminded them too much of fish. And I even had, I think at a big expo, one sister came up as, oh, tree fish? Yeah, my husband brought some of those home last week. So they confuse it with flying fish. But then when I explained the principle behind the whole concept of naming the dish even tree fish, like, oh, okay, because really a lot of what I do is making it that you can associate, that you can relate to it, but we're not actually imitating, because there's no fish that really grows on tree, but you can associate it because of the flavor. And this is where, the whole psychology of food is really getting us today, because they're bringing up certain things and they're putting certain names on it, and we just automatically jump in, don't realize the catch behind it. like this whole plant-based concept. But
You should
you know, go
you
ahead.
should have put a patent on that, because right now here in Thailand, I can get jackfruit tuna.
Jackfruit tuna. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Yeah. Now, when I develop things, it's really for humanity. You know, this thing about patent ownership, that's all fine and stuff, but my spirit is geared in a different level. You know, I mean, I have given out so many gems. That's why I want these people to get these two milks. You know, and
I'll
you
put it
know,
up.
just make it at home. You need to make it. You need to get off of these animal milks. You know, and other things like that. You know.
So kombucha, is it actually beneficial? If so, how should it
Well, again, it's a mushroom.
be?
It's a mushroom. And I said, me not touch no mushrooms. Now, interestingly, in the 80s when the kombucha came about, you know the story behind the kombucha,
No.
the mushroom. Oh, a lost, forgotten mushroom from ancient time that someone in Russia found one kombucha mushroom. So I tell you, whoever came about with this stuff, they had some mean marketing behind it to see what it has come to today. And back in those days, somebody like, you know, a brother would bless me with a piece of kombucha mushroom because it was free. Nobody could charge for it. It was free. So somebody blessed me with a piece of kombucha mushroom. So I feed it. Check that. This is the big thing about it that's very interesting. Now, I feed this mushroom sugar
Yeah.
and tea. I feed the sugar and tea, black tea or whatever, you know, which is full of caffeine or thiene. So two toxins. And this is what this mushroom eats. It's already a toxic. You know, it's already a fungus. And this kombucha mushroom, I'm feeding on sugar because this is what it grows on. I mean, of course, today they've refined it, they've taken it to a certain level and all of this type of stuff. But then it was free. So I would somebody give me a piece and I would go ahead and reproduce it, make it grow, interestingly enough. And then I would take and give Chaka a piece. I give like 4 or 6 of my brethren a piece. And this is how it spread it. And everybody produced their own kombucha. No, the thing is, it's distilleries, that distillery, big breweries are making it now. So it's a serious, it's a serious, heavy, commercial, deep marketing program that was unleashed some time ago. But me not trust no mushroom found in Russia, lost mushroom that somebody discovered, found in Russia, and all of a sudden the whole world is full of it now. All of a sudden it's all full of it now. So a fungus is a fungus. They call them, what the next name about for mushroom is spores.
Yeah.
So more like sores. It's a sore. And when you look at one of the famous ones today, the chaga mushroom. You see the chaga mushroom where it grows up on a tree? And you look at it, look like it's a spore up on the tree. Like it's a sore, it's a spore, you know. But still, you know, I know some people who even talk about the big value of medicinal mushrooms. The way these medicinal mushrooms work, they actually poison you and your body reject them, and in rejecting that poison, other wastes come out of your system. So it's like backdoor healing.
So what would you say if they're not eating that but they want the same health effects that it claims to do, as in gut health, probiotics? What would you say they should get for that? No need. So what?
Look,
We are gonna start a noni business.
We gotta start a noni business, man. A duppy sour sop business. No, but you know, look, if you're eating predominantly fresh food, fruits and veg, and as much of it as raw as possible, I would say at least 70%, 80%, you don't need no probiotics. You don't need no prebiotics. It's on your plate. It's on my plate. So me don't need to go eat no special plate or buy some special formula. You know, we don't need to go buy some you know, some kind of dairy something to put back, you know, friendly bacteria in my system, because me take a colonic or something like that and wash out my friendly bacteria along with the bad one. And you got to put some no, just live the life on a certain level, and all you have to do is focus on living. We have too much work to do mining the minefield, trying to make sure that the unexploded mines don't blow up inside of our system. Okay, so just stay the course. Stay the course. Bite into that mango and let that life, let that energy of the sun burst inside of you. You want that food to explode like a sunburst inside of your system. There's your friendly bacteria. There's your probiotics.
A man's asking, how do you get rid of prostate infection?
You know, you have to, number one, you have to dry these things out. You have to dry these things out. And of course, things like definitely cranberry juice. There's certain herbs like saw palmetto, you know, the bilberry. But what infected the prostate? Why did we get to this level? Actually, I don't think I've actually met a man that has been diagnosed with prostate cancer who's been eating all plant foods. So there's an animal connection. Because when they check in your prostate condition, they measure what they call the PSA. PSA stands for protein specific antigen.
Okay.
So your body is releasing an antigen, an antidote for a specific protein that you have been consuming. And they say Jamaican men have the highest incidence of prostate cancer in the world. What kind of protein the manyamso? They say African American men have the second highest incidence of prostate cancer in the world. Them say Trinidad them have the third highest incidence of prostate cancer in the world. So what kind of specific protein the three of them have in common that they consume? In the Jamaican man, they have already pinpointed it to the ackee. They say it's the fat in the ackee that cause it. But show me the Jamaican man that eat ackee without salt fish. So all of it was the ackee and not the salt fish. And I am a big fan. I'm a big ackee eater. Sometimes I eat 3 dozen of ackee, and my prostate, my glands are still strong. No inflammation. 72. I have no issue with urination or nothing like that. When I woke up this morning at 4 o'clock, I woke up with a big, strong erection. Okay. So what is that specific protein that we're building this antigen from? You know, what is it that the African American man is eating? What is it that the Trinidad man is eating, that the Jamaican man is eating, that is creating it? I know one thing that my is full. All 3 of them. One barbecue it, one jerk it, and the next one spice it with you know, some lime pepper, escobiche it. But still, you know, the body is fighting something, a specific protein that does not need to be in it. You know, so we need to be careful with these things. You know, this medical science, they really know how to make money. Let's leave it like that.
Okay, so somebody said, are you familiar with Chondrus crispus? Just sea moss.
Chondrus crispus. It's a sea moss.
Yeah, they're saying, are you familiar with sea moss? But what they're saying is they're trying to create distinction between sea moss plants, types of sea moss, because you get the purple one, you get the big one, you get the small one. But what happened is people started growing it in a pool and started growing it.
Yeah,
and
that's a different something there.
our sea moss is wildcrafted in the ocean. Some people are now farming the sea moss. So there's basically saying, are you familiar with the different types of sea moss?
Okay. Are you familiar with lettuce, spinach, kale, chard, mint, dill. Are you familiar with these land-based greens and the difference between